Hi, this is Billy. I would like to show you how you can make a simple metal sheet bending machines. So you can make oven and stove with sheet metals like this one. We've seen some of the videos on the internet about creating heavy-duty bending machines like this one, which is requiring some soldering work. However, in our projects, to make stove and oven, we use this 0.3 millimeter thick and should say very thin metal sheets, stainless steel sheets or titanium sheets that can be bended using much simpler bending machines like this one, which is made of aluminum, not steel, with simple tools that we can clamp using the G-clamp to your desk. You can use this device to make a lot of stove. So a lot of you think I have a workshop, but no, here's my tiny little bedroom in a very small apartment in Hong Kong. This is my computer. All my creation projects are done between this floor and this desk space. Yeah, that's the reality living in Hong Kong in a city. We don't have big houses with garage or workshops like many people in the other part of the world have. So we have just to make do with what we got, like these tiny, simple metal bending machines. To make it, the first thing you need to do is find a piece of wood long enough and thick enough. So the one I'm holding now is around 600 millimeter long and around 50 millimeter wide. It has around 1 inch thick. So it's good enough, but if you want to make a bigger stove, you can find a longer piece. So you have to measure the length of the biggest piece of metal you need to bend and add 200 millimeter to that. So we can have the space for the hinges and the space to allow the G-clamp to clamp to your desk. This is the hinges we will be using. A 2-inch long hinge is strong enough to sustain the minor pressure for bending the very thin sheet metal. So we use two, one at each side. So we need to mount the hinges as close to the wood as possible, but not overlapping. The central pivot point, the central cylinder need to be outside the wood, yet closest to it. We also need to have this aluminum angle. So we got one for the main body, another one for the handle. And also this aluminum bar, and this one is 50 millimeter width, 3 millimeter thick. So the reason why we need the aluminum bar is to allow our sheet metal to be raised by 3 millimeters, so it matches the hinges, the center of the hinges. And to keep our sheet metal in place like this one for simulation, we will use another aluminum angle placed this way, and it will be secured by screws to press hard on this one. When you started bending sheet metals, you find that it is a 3D bend, right? You have edges that stand up as 90-degree angle that need to be bent together in a single sheet. So the idea of using an aluminum angle instead of aluminum bar to secure this sheet in place is because if you use an angle, you can cut these notches in the places where you have the original fold already done in right angle, so you can keep that in place, yet you can secure the remaining part of the sheet metal securely to allow the other edges to be bended. So you'll find I cut a lot of notches on my aluminum angle. Okay, so it's important when you line up this component to use the center of the hinges, the central cylinder of the hinge. Everything must line up to the center so that the gaps in between are kept to a minimum. So everything evolves around the center of the cylinder of this hinge. Otherwise, the metal cannot be bent easily because the gap will be too big. You are not exerting enough pressure onto the sheet metal. That's why when we drill the holes, when we set up everything, it has to be lined up to this center cylinder, which is exactly why we need an aluminum bar put on top of the wood instead of just utilizing the wood itself, because by raising the surface of the sheet metal to 3 millimeter, it will align right to the center of this cylinder. That's why we need another smaller aluminum bar placed on top of the angled aluminum. To hold the aluminum bar and the aluminum angle in place, we will use a bigger screw, the M6 screw, with the length of 80 millimeter. Why we need it so long? Because we need to be able to lift the aluminum angle high enough so we can put the sheet metal to be bended in and out. And to keep that in place, we use a butterfly nut. Let me set up this machine for you. So we'll place the wood as close to the edge of our desk as possible, and we use a G-clamp to clamp the whole thing securely to our desk. Make sure you find a G-clamp that it has a mouth open wide enough to clamp it in place. Then we can put in the screws, the long M6 screws, 80 millimeter. First, penetrate through the aluminum angle, and then the aluminum bar, the other side as well. And then pass through that piece of wood. Notice we move the wood a little bit away from the edge of the desk to allow us to put in that long screw. And then we have the butterfly nuts with a washer, so when we turn, we won't eat into the wood. And to fasten and unfasten the aluminum angle, we just use an electric screwdriver instead of us winding and unwinding ourselves. So we need to press the butterfly nuts against the edge of the desk so it will be held in place like that. When we rotate the screw up front, the butterfly nuts will stay in place and will hold this whole setup in place. Okay, let's do the same on the aluminum bar on the other side of the aluminum angle. We use a regular M4 screw to hold it in place. Okay, and we can bend the handle like that when we store it, or move it to the top or to the bottom, depending on how you want to use it. The most important thing is make sure it didn't hurt your body when it's extruding out and you don't notice it. So all the sharp edges should be grinded and smoothened out by sandpaper or the pile or a file, I mean. So let me show you how I bend this thin metal sheet. This one is a 0.15 millimeter titanium. So we can slide it in place, make sure the line that you draw for folding is located in between the cracks, at the center of the crack, aligned to the center of the central cylinder of the hinge. That way you will get the right bending at the right place. So make sure you secure it and then gently move the handle up, and there you got it, it's folded. If you want to be folded to a bigger angle, you just add another aluminum bar on top, so it will be bended much quicker. So this is the end of my video. Thanks a lot for watching. If you like my video, please subscribe, click the bell so I can alert you of new videos, share with your friends, and leave some comments so I can improve going forward. I'll leave you with this quick video of how I use it to bend my stove and oven. See you next time. This is Billy.